everybody. I'm Jim Spagg, and I'm taking this opportunity to discuss my opinion and my views on the criminal justice system here in America. Now, of course, this is the wonderful thing about public access, is that people get to express themselves and say whatever they want to say without worrying about the influence of the media or the government or commerce or the church. You see, you can say what's on your mind and you're free to do that. Theoretically, that's one of the wonderful things about life here in America, even though those freedoms seem to be ebbing away with things like 9/11 and the people deciding that they have some reason or right to invade your privacy or individuality or whatever. In any case, the point of this show is the criminal justice system here in America. So let me start out with the big question, what is life? All right, now life is something that nobody asked for. No one ever asked to be born. And yet people are born, and some of them become conscious of the fact that life is a wonderful gift and that there can be happiness and there can be wonderful experiences in life. But not all people are so fortunate as to be born of good parents, parents who are effective parents, or in some cases people are born but they wind up not having any parents, or maybe one parent, or parents that are not effective in raising their children. In any case, we do have life, we have humanity, and theoretically we should all care about each other. We should all be concerned. Christ himself said, "As you do to the least of mine, so do you do to me." And a chain is as strong as its weakest link. This is something to think about, because even those people who don't seem important are fellow human beings, and that's what life is about. All of us human beings getting to know each other, working together, caring about each other, and solving the problems that humanity has in common. Even though we are divided by religious and cultural differences, there are grounds upon which we can all come together. Now, I'm concerned about this criminal justice system because I personally believe that it's a sort of a pork barrel. It's kind of a conspiracy of people who are in the criminal justice system, lawyers, the media, government, and commerce. These are people who benefit from the idea that making people feel that jails and prisons are a good thing. If you think about it with just a little bit of logic, you'll realize that it doesn't make sense to take people who are to some degree criminally inclined and mix them together with a bunch of other people who are criminally inclined. Even worse than that, what happens is that these people in the criminal justice system quite often mix the lions with the lambs, because there are two types of crimes. There are violent crimes and there are nonviolent crimes. But when they put people in jail, they just throw them all together, whether they're violent or nonviolent. And of course the people who are nonviolent have a pretty good chance of getting harmed. And so they have to be on their defensive and try to stay out of trouble, and the best way to do that is try to turn gray, try to not say anything and blend into the background and hope that nobody will see you and pick on you and give you troubles. But it doesn't always work out that way. It's just not fair. And that's what justice is all about, isn't it? Fairness, equality. People feel that there's such a thing as rehabilitation by putting people in jail or prison. Well, there are people who want to get into the criminal justice system, people who want to be policemen, people who want to be lawyers, or people who want to do something, maybe even be prison personnel. When they go to college, they learn in college through their sociology class or through other classes that the penal system doesn't work. It does not work. It doesn't rehabilitate people. If anyone gets rehabilitated in jail or prison, it's because of their own doing. It's because of their own determination and their own desire to see what's going on. And generally, these will be people who are a little older and a little more mature and understand the wrongness of the criminal justice system, the wrongness of jails and prisons. When a man gets arrested, if he's going to be in jail for a month or 2 months or 3 months, there's a good chance his wife will get raped, he'll lose his job, somebody will steal his car, somebody will break into his apartment. All these things can and do happen to people who get thrown in jail when it's really not necessary. Now, you probably think I'm crazy when I say these things. When I suggest to you that there should be no jails or prisons, that sounds ridiculous. It sounds wild. It sounds far out, because you've been told by so many people that we need more jails, we need more prisons, and a lot of people hate criminals and crime so much they say, lock them up and throw the keys away, because they don't want to be bothered. They don't want these people to be in their life. They just want to get rid of them. They just want peace and happiness, and they figure if someone makes a mistake, because that's what doing a crime is, it's making a mistake. If they make a mistake, lock them up and throw the keys away. Instead of being like Christ, who was the good shepherd, who went after the lost sheep and tried to help the sheep with their problems and tried to help them find their way. This is what we need. We need people caring about each other. And you may wonder, why do I say that? Well, it's like this. There are a lot of crimes in the books. There are all kind of laws that you can break. But you know, in spite of all these laws, there are only 6 or 7 basic reasons why people commit crimes. And all these reasons can be addressed through some kind of action other than jail or prison. In fact, they can be more effectively addressed. And why do I say that? Well, you know, the jails and the prisons, they claim that it costs $60,000 per person per year to be housed in a jail or prison. Now, when you consider the problems of these people, and I'll get to these problems, I'll tell you what they are. If you were to spend even half that amount addressing those problems, and of course trying to be effective, you would probably greatly reduce crime to a point where what little crime there was would be very easily dealt with and effectively. So let me tell you what those 6 reasons are that people commit crimes. So what are the reasons that people get placed in jail or prison? Well, one obvious one is a simple one, is that some people have bad ethics. They're not aware of how important it is to be thoughtful and considerate of the other person. The problem with solving this one is that the older a person gets, it seems that it's more difficult to give them the consciousness that they need to behave in a more ethical manner. And this is actually the problem with all crime. It's important to catch people while they're young and deal with their problems in a more effective manner than to throw them in jail or prison and mix them up with a bunch of other criminally inclined people. So, nonetheless, if you can just imagine $60,000 per year, why, I believe even spending half that money for effective counseling of some sort and maybe making sure that these people have been properly influenced in the direction that will keep them away from crime and help them have a better, more normal and happy life. So that's one of the reasons that people commit crime. Another one is some people have a bad family environment, which might of course lead them in many cases to have improper ethics toward humanity. Again, it's important for people who are going to be parents to have some kind of a concept as to what good and effective parenting is. In most cases, of course, these people who become parents did not have good parents themselves and were not given a good direction in terms of being aware of what is good and what is right and being thoughtful of other people. And so, here again, these are things that could be addressed through psychiatrists or psychotherapists or things like that. Apparently there